In 1995, Steven Spielberg was polishing his Oscar when he heard something in a nearby room.
Huh? Huh?
When he investigated, he found it was his teenage son Max playing GoldenEye 007, and Steven was fascinated by what he saw. Wow, this is so cool. I agree. Whoa, what the fuck? He felt that this fresh medium of the video game could be a brand new form of storytelling, and this inspired him to create DreamWorks Interactive. Using one of his movies as inspiration, he ordered this new team to get to work straight away. Sadly, Schindler's List 2, Here We Go Again, wasn't a big hit with internal testers. After this disappointment, Steven decided a game to complement his upcoming film, Saving Private Ryan, would be better received.
Ihre Papiere, bitte. Your papers, please. Verzeihung, aber Sie haben Ihre Granate vergessen. Excuse me, but you forgot your grenade.
Development for Medal of Honor started in 1997, and even though it had the backing of big studio, there were doubts that the obese horde of slovenly gamers would have an appetite for a World War II game. Peter Hirschman, the game's lead producer, claimed that the corporate higher-ups at DreamWorks Interactive were concerned about making a game in a historical setting. They felt that gamers were only interested in ray guns, hellspawn and laser rifles. Despite these concerns, the team soldiered on, and in 1998 they presented a demo to Electronic Arts, who were thrilled with the game's quality. But then, disaster struck. Eric, I can't wait to show off our fast gun collection to all of our friends. I'm looking forward to it as well, Dylan. It's going to be a great day. Now Dylan, be careful with those guns. They're loaded with live ammunition. I got this, man, stop worrying. Come on, we're going to be late for class. The Columbine banana incident tragically killed 16 people, including 2 clumsy young men, Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. When police raided their houses, they uncovered something truly shocking. Video games. This sparked a moral panic in the American media, and it wasn't long before sights were set on Spielberg's new project. Word eventually reached Paul Bucha, the president of the Congressional Medal of Honor Society. Paul had a meeting with Spielberg and demanded he not release the game at all, as he felt the Medal of Honor was a sacred symbol and shouldn't be used to market a video game. Spielberg, who had great respect for army veterans, was distraught and considered dropping the project altogether, but Peter Hirschman had an idea. Hey Paul, stick this in your mouth.
Eh?
Hey barman, this guy needs a beer.
Eh? 本当に?
Now, follow me. Holy shit, this game is amazing. Paul Bucha was so impressed by the game that instead of calling for the game's cancellation, he convinced the Congressional Medal of Honor Society to endorse it. Despite all its hurdles, the game was finally released on November 10th, 1999, to critical acclaim.
Thank you.
In Medal of Honor, we play as Lieutenant Patterson, an all-American hero. Lieutenant Patterson has been recruited into the OSS, the American Intelligence Service. Now, I'm not one to tell a war hero what to do, but Patterson needs to raise questions with his field training instructor. He gave him a 91% rating for frag grenades. What does that even mean? Shortly afterwards, we are introduced to Manon, a member of the French resistance who communicates with Patterson via letters. They really need to give that postman a raise. Manon outlines our objectives and will tell us any extra intel we need to know, such as the locations of hidden weapon stashes, or that she has a boyfriend. Girl, spill that tea. When I load into the first mission, I managed to kill some enemies, but I struggled with the controls for most of it. It's important to remember that this game was released before first-person shooting controls were standardized on a controller, so you tended to end up dealing with some funky setups. The PlayStation 1 had 2 controllers, the original PS1 gamepad and the new and improved DualShock. The DualShock. was the first controller to feature dual analog sticks and was an answer to the question of how to control a camera in a 3D environment. Pretty much all games nowadays are set up so the left analog stick controls movement and the right analog stick controls the direction the character is facing, but they hadn't had this figured out yet in the PS1 days. In Medal of Honor, pushing forwards and backwards on the left analog stick will move Patterson forwards and backwards. Pretty straightforward so far. But if you push this analog stick to the left or right, instead of strafing like you might expect, you'll turn. Instead, the right analog stick is in charge of strafing, but it's also how you look up and down. If you're still not sure what I'm really on about, try rotating your arms in opposite directions. That's what it feels like to play this game. Thankfully, I found a controller setting in the game which matches how shooters are played today, and I hope they gave this person a raise because the game feels much better playing this way. So I make my way through the level, find the crash plane, but there's no sign of our G3 officer, so I follow the trail which leads me into a town. Here I'm tasked with killing some Gestapo officers. Easily sorted, mate. And after fighting my way through the town, I enter some sewers, and I must say, I like the sound design down here. It's how I felt as a boy, hiding from my parents when I did something wrong. Come here, you little bollocks! This level introduces us to dogs, which as an enemy are not used a lot in Medal of Honor. I think this is a missed opportunity as they're a good way to induce a bit of panic in the player. The G3 officer is unfortunately dead, but I managed to retrieve his attaché case and escape the sewers. Afterwards, I get a small history lesson from my commanding officer.
This operation is being planned as a success. We cannot afford to fail. With that declaration, the tone for D-Day was set. Allied troops were towed across the channel, seated inside gliders, whose pilots had only one chance for a successful landing. Thousands more traveled to France aboard Higgins boats, amphibious landing craft that were the key to the Allied triumph on D-Day. But the fight for Europe was just beginning, and not everything was going according to plan.
Most of Medal of Honor's story is presented in this fashion, as Big Bad Steo wanted this game to teach younger players about World War II. Each mission is based around a subject in the war, such as the U-boat or the V-2 rocket. After completing the game, I went off to Reddit to let them know that I knew more than them, which is something they were very willing to accept. Our next mission is to destroy the railgun Greta, which is based off the Glup Gave 5 railgun. Jesus, imagine getting railed by that thing. This mission introduced us to the concept of This was a novel concept for a shooter when the game was released. Big Steo loved the idea of pressing the shoot button, and instead of blowing their head clean off their shoulders, you would instead shove your passport in their face. It's much like me as I passed a long line of English people in a European airport. At some stage in these levels you'll need to acquire other paperwork to progress to the next level.
Sir, I need to see some identification. You're not allowed in here.
Yeah, that's no bother, man. I'll go get my other paperwork. Here you go.
Sorry, sir. Have a good night.
Thank you very much, you're a gentleman. If you get spotted with your gun out or present the wrong papers to an enemy officer, you will blow your cover and the enemies will run to the nearest alarm, alerting the entire base. Thankfully these alarms can be destroyed, which will make the enemies go back to their usual routines, which is very funny.
Hello.
We don't spend long in mode before we are forced to blow up an enemy truck, which alerts the entire base and the level devolves into a shooting match. I won't lie, I was a bit disappointed at this. I would have preferred to stealth my way toward the railgun and blow it up and escape like a thief in the night. This would leave the Germans confused and maybe a little bit horny. Mission number 3 involves us going undercover as a Kriegsmarine officer and taking out a German U-boat. This mission adds another layer onto the stealth as we need to avoid German officers because they will see through our disguise straight away.
What is your name? What is your name? You're Jimmy Patterson.
I was impressed with some of the lighting in this level, especially the way it comes through the grates here. It might not seem like much now, but for the time it was very impressive. They really pushed the PS1 to its limits with this game, as the environments are all pretty nice, and they managed to achieve a good level of variety with very little. There's the U-boat we're on at the moment, the town from earlier. They even introduced some snow later on in the game. No two missions ever look the same. The biggest drawback with the graphics is definitely the constant black void as you progress through the game. They try to cover it up as best they can, but it's always there. Kinda compelling actually. I noticed that all the missions take place at night in this game, but playing as a spy rather than a regular soldier makes this work. The stars are also multicoloured, which I found to be an odd choice. Anyway, this mission is much like the last one, a bit of stealthy stealth before doing a bit of shooty shoo. I disable the ship, make my way to some docks and completely massacre every soldier I see. Afterwards, I board the U-boat and send it down to the fathoms below. Bye bye. My next mission is to infiltrate the fortress of Schmerzen to investigate what the Germans are hiding. The fortress is said to be impenetrable, so of course, I easily get in. I can't believe they didn't try just killing everyone guarding the entrance. I'd also like to know how they got this plane into this area, because there's no way they're driving it through them doors. When I enter the fortress, it isn't long before I uncover the shocking secret. They are making mustard gas. Well, of course, I need to put a stop to this and dispose of it safely, right? Your objective is to use their own horrible weapon against them? Lads, this is a war crime. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. When I entered this war, I was a boy. Now, I'm a big boy. In mission number 5, we were infiltrating Nazi-controlled Norway to sabotage the German heavy water plant. Heavy water is not a German precursor to heavy metal music. It's actually mineral-rich water needed in the construction of an atomic bomb. So we need to get in there and flush it out into the sea. There's a good bit of crawling around fence in this level, and I was not expecting to see Germans crawling around with me. This is probably a good time to mention one of Medal of Honor's most impressive features. The game has a limb system that makes the enemies react differently depending on where they get shot. For example, if they get shot in the legs, they will try to crawl away. If shot in the arm, they'll drop their weapon. And if they get shot in the cock, they have my sympathy. It's impressive that a game from 1999 has more responsive enemies than most games released today. They will often take cover and blind fire if you're standing in a tight corridor, for example. Even when you throw grenades at the enemies, they'll often try to throw it back. Sometimes they'll even give it a little kick. It's not a lot, but it's those little reactions to what the player does that makes the enemies seem just a bit more real. So we make our way through the base, and not being happy with just using chemical weapons, Patterson guns down surrendering civilians as well. A true American hero. Eventually, after Patterson is done torturing a local family, we dump the hard war and make our escape. In the penultimate mission, we are sent to retrieve all the art the Germans have stolen. The SS are trying to blow up the mine the art is stored in, so we need to act swiftly. Well, in particular, our CEO only seems interested in saving a manuscript of the Canterbury Tales. There's even a reference to the author at the start of the game, as this is something Patterson was studying in college. I can tell whoever wrote this mission has never read the Canterbury Tales, because if they did, they would have absolutely no problem with destroying it. Thankfully, I needed not be so careful with the rest of my art, for I may blow it up and have no care. This level also introduces us to the rocket launcher enemies. Medal of Honor provides the player with a mix of American and German weapons throughout the game. We are given pistols, shotguns, rifles, machine guns, and in this mission they introduce bazookas. The machine guns are by far the most useful tools in the game, especially at this stage when the rocket launcher troops get involved, because I need to kill these lads as quickly as possible. I could aim for a headshot, but when you enter the aiming mode in this game, Patterson stands completely still. This means I can't dodge the rockets, which will kill him instantly if it hits him. I reached the end of this mission only to be reduced to paste, requiring me to start the entire mission over again. So a machine gun is the best tool for the job, as it provides me the best chance of killing these arseholes before they can even react. Thankfully, I avoided being blown up and managed to secure the Canterbury Tales, to the detriment of English students around the globe.
Is this a word?
Yes.
Is it? It doesn't look right.
Our final mission is to destroy the Phi-2 rocket. The enemies are tougher and more numerous in this mission, so once again the machine gun ends up being our best friend. As final missions go, it's pretty underwhelming. The developers seem to have run out of time at this stage and just made the enemies take more damage before they get killed. Of course, Patterson wouldn't be happy leaving unless he could ensure the German corpses would be unrecognisable to their families. So when we reach the end and launch the V2 rocket into the air, we send it crashing back down upon the base. Holy shit! And thus ends the story of Medal of Honor. I really enjoyed my time with Medal of Honor, which to be honest I'm surprised at. I was not expecting a shooter from the PS1 to play so smoothly and to have such a high level of quality. Thankfully, the team's hard work didn't go unrewarded as Medal of Honor was a critical and financial success. Unfortunately for Mr. Spielberg, he never reaped the rewards of the project, as shortly after the game's release he sold DreamWorks Interactive to Electronic Arts.
There's a fire dancing in my flesh.
Spare change? Spare change? Spare change? Oh. Oh, hey Steven. Come on babe, let's get out of here. Oh my god, that was so embarrassing. Hey. What? Oh, it's you guys. Come on Steven. We need another player. No, I don't do that type of thing, Paul. Not anymore. You know that. What's your plan? Baking the street like a dog? Come on, Steven. Join us. Just for one game. Okay. One more game.